Hello, today we're going to be discussing tropical weather and then local and national weather afterwards. To start off, we have 5 tropical systems active, 3 tropical cyclones, a potential cyclone, and then an invest. To start off, we have 2 systems in the Eastern Pacific, Hurricane Frank, which is Category 1, and Tropical Storm Georgette. Frank may become a Category 2, but is expected to maintain its intensity before weakening, and potentially bringing a tiny bit of moisture to California, but nothing much at all. Tropical Storm Georgette is expected to stay out to sea, at least for now. Going into the Western Pacific, nothing in the Central Pacific. Georgette may go to the Central Pacific later down the line, but in the Western Pacific we have SONGDA, which is a depression, and then is expected to impact North Korea. It might become a tropical storm. And then Invest 95W is just to the west, the east of Taiwan. Then we have Tropical Cyclone One in the Indian Ocean, just southwest of the island of Java in Indonesia. And then, so it crossed over. Its remnants were, its impacts, or its impacts, and basically, its system as a whole was near the equator, and then part of its energy was lost and moved north, while its rest of it moved south, and it was going to be potentially become a cyclone, but not likely. But now it is actually formed into a tropical cyclone, and its chances have increased. And it is a tropical cyclone. Off season right now, but yeah. Now the Atlantic. We're done with our systems. Now discussed why the Atlantic is, well, inactive. We've had Alex, Bonnie, and Colin in the Atlantic. Of course, Bonnie was a crossover into the Eastern Pacific. It became a Category 3. First Category 3 of the Eastern Pacific season, sort of ironically. And then, we've had these waves moving up. They've been sheared apart as this high pressure air is moving southwestward, and we have this dry, stable Saharan dust layer air moving out into the Atlantic. And then, but what we could be seeing is some more waves coming off of Central America into the Eastern Pacific, and then a potential system for the Western Caribbean. Then, just for national weather, briefly, we'll go back on this later. We have some moisture, high precipitation amounts in the green region, dry in the brown regions, and we've actually had, near the Lake Mead area, we've had some severe thunderstorms the past few days, which is bringing some rain. Not enough to completely get rid of the drought by far, but definitely some good rains, and then the blue is the monsoonal activity spreading out. Alright, now let's get to the second part of the video. Alright, looking at the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, we have Tropical Cyclone 01S, and then Tropical Depression 06W, or SONGDA, and then we have Invest 95W, which has a unlikely development within the next 24 hours. We see a frontal system moving towards New Zealand, and then other than that, not much else going on. Southwest Indian, of course, nothing active right now. This is the off season, and the North Indian is quiet as it should be, as monsoonal activity is the primary pattern right now, as it should be. Looking at the NHC, we see Hurricane Frank, which is expected to maintain its hurricane strength for a little while at its 90-mile-per-hour winds. And is expected to become post-tropical wave before going north of Baja California. And then Georgette is expected to curve back north and stay a tropical storm. No impacts to land as wind as these systems are concerned. Out to sea primarily. But rip currents are always a threat, of course. Now, looking at tropical tidbits for satellite imagery, we see Frank really getting its act together. Maybe some dry air trying to get through there, but trying to build its eye. As you can see, relatively circular. Is at its peak right now. We're almost at its peak, pretty much, and then it's expected to die off. Intensity guidance, might be only category 2 very briefly, but it will likely stay category 1 before weakening and becoming post-tropical. We also have Invest 95W, which is not organized at all, just a complex of thunderstorms. Then Tropical Cyclone One S might be losing some of its convection there, but yeah, off season. Looking at SONGDA, definitely looks like a tropical depression, not a storm at all. But yeah, and then Georgette, a small system, but definitely a tropical storm nonetheless. 50 miles per hour, I believe. And then looking at Frank, 15 nautical miles to the northwest, 20 nautical miles to the northeast and southeast as well, for the hurricane winds for the quadrants. And then yeah, looking at local and national weather now. We have a lot of this precipitation you can see, and then a dry pocket in the central United States and upper plains, and then especially in the northwest and western California. But you can see prominent monsoonal activity actually moving slightly farther to the west, involving Nevada now. Then we see a lot of this rainfall for the east, and we could see some flash flooding every so often. That 24-inch is actually 2 feet of rainfall, so if that does come to fruition, we could see some major flooding with this. Going to look at the European, and pretty much the same story. Very dry for the central and western United States, and monsoonal activity, and the east seeing a lot of precip. Looking at the weather to come, we just see some thunderstorms for the southeast, and then maybe in the southern Canada into Minnesota and North Dakota today, into Sunday. And then we also see, switching over to a farther model, we see that thunderstorms moving into our area, and then also for isolated areas of storms in the west, monsoonal activity, and in Canada as well. Looking at the upcoming pattern, we see a lot of these just cold fronts actually being able to form, so showing strong systems to bring severe weather for our region and much of the eastern United States, particularly for the Midwest and the Southeast, excluding Florida, because of cold fronts will not be able to make its way all the way down there. That is new. So the GFS has actually spun up a Category 3 or 4 hurricane to strike Mexico, which is something new, and it was not there before. So that is definitely worrying, but definitely nothing to take really serious, but it shows what might be coming soon, as hurricane season might be about to explode. Alright, so, yeah, so definitely do not take that seriously, but it is something to look out for and showing how tropical activity is possible soon. Definitely something to look out for, and definitely keep an eye out for updates for any of your sources, including this channel, as this is not a good time of year to not listen to any warnings, as of course it is the peak of hurricane season. What the GFS is showing is kind of ridiculous, but it shows how it is possible in that area to actually form a major hurricane to the bathwater, like water and the ocean heat content. If it goes over the right area, it may as well become a Category 3 hurricane. So I'm not take this with a major grain of salt, and that this will almost definitely not happen, but something like this may happen as we get into August. We see maybe even a tropical system heading for maritime Canada. But yeah, similar predictions as what we had a week or two ago with our update. Just that the MDR looks inactive right now, and it may become inactive, more active as we get closer to mid to late August, but as of now, early August looks like the MDR will not spin up anything. But those waves may make it to the Gulf of Mexico, and if they do, we need to watch out for that, as if wind shear is low and the dry air is out of the way, then we could really be seeing something very nasty come up and impact areas. For the next few days, just have a couple marginal risks and a slight risk. Just general wind and hail threats, maybe an isolated tornado tomorrow, but other than that, the general summer storms with some severe storms possible. And a lot of that monsoonal activity, as you can see, still hot for the central United States though, and we could be seeing a heat wave for our area next week. Looking at the National Weather Service page, we see some severe thunderstorm warnings, a lot of heat for the west actually. We see a lot of that heat wave continuing. The central United States is hot, but is not as hot as the west right now. We see excessive heat warnings and heat advisories as well as some red flag warnings. We'll actually take a look at that briefly. To look at the Storm Prediction Center, we've had just a couple wind reports today. One in South Carolina, or two, and then a couple in Arizona. No watches, but a mesoscale discussion concerning some thunderstorms today. Nothing to really be worried about though, as watches unlikely and just a couple of strong thunderstorms are possible. For fire risk, we just have some dry thunderstorms possible, which means lightning could form some fires if it is not raining on the ground due to how dry it is, and the rain will not make it to the ground, causing for the potential for rain to not extinguish those fires, and just the general thunderstorms to come. Then day 2 fire. We could see day 1, similar areas for isolated dry thunderstorms, and then just a general elevated risk for Montana today, particularly eastern Montana. But then, yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. We do need to look at our area. I'll search up New York City for this one. This will do it for this video though. Alright. Exceptionally dry right now actually, and then we could be seeing some rain for as we get into early next week, like as in Monday. But yeah, not too much rain expected for the next few days, but definitely something to look out for, and we could be getting more information. We will be getting more information as we get closer to any events that will come. But yeah, for the next few days, very stable air, and no rain, but then we could be seeing some rain after that. That's going to do it. Thank you for watching.